สวัสดีครับชมรมมัคคุเทศก์อาชีพภาษาอังกฤษนะครับวันนี้เรามานำเสนอเทคนิคการนำชมตามโดยการประยุกต์หลักสูตรของสมาพันธ์มัคคุเทศก์โลกมาใช้อีกครั้งหนึ่งนะครับหลังที่เราได้ปล่อยคลิปหลายๆคลิปซึ่งเป็นประโยชน์ต่อการเรียนการสอนวิชามัคคุเทศก์วันนี้จะเป็นแนะนำเทคนิคแล้วก็สาธิตการนำชมจะได้เป็นประโยชน์ต่อนักเรียนนักศึกษาและคณาจารย์ที่จะนำไปใช้อีกครั้งหนึ่งนะครับโดยที่เรามีคณะของสมาชิกจากเรียกว่าเทรนเนอร์แล้วกันนะครับจากชมรมมัคคุเทศก์อาชีพภาษาอังกฤษเริ่มจากน้องหมีนะครับเป็น National Trainer ของสมาพันธ์มัคคุเทศก์โลกและผมคมสันต์ สุวรรณรัตน์ก็ National Trainer จากสมาพันธ์มัคคุเทศก์โลกและท่านซึ่งได้ผ่านการอบรมตามหลักสูตรของสมาพันธ์มัคคุเทศก์โลกแล้วเหมือนกันจุฑาพรกิ้วนะครับแล้วก็คุณปุ้มจักริดแล้วก็ทิพย์อาภรณ์แล้วก็บุ๋มนะครับธีรนันท์ครับทั้งหมด5 คนมาวันนี้จริงๆเรามีคณะมากกว่านี้นะครับงั้นเดี๋ยวเราจะเริ่มกันเลยนะครับกิจกรรมวันนี้นั้นเป็น guiding เทคนิคของสมาพันธ์มัคคุเทศก์โลกนะครับที่เราใช้อบรมกันอยู่เป็นปกติอยู่แล้วซึ่งวันนี้เราจะใช้ทั้งภาษาอังกฤษแล้วก็ภาษาไทยนะครับเพราะเนื่องจากหลักสูตรนี้เป็นหลักสูตรภาษาอังกฤษเพื่อจะได้เข้าใจง่ายขึ้นเพราะจะใช้2ภาษานะครับโดยเริ่มต้นที่เราจะทำนั่นคืออันแรกนี้เราจะขอแนะนำเทคนิคต่างๆนะครับที่จะเอามาใช้ก่อนเข้าสู่ภาคปฏิบัตินะครับเพราะเทคนิคเหล่านั้นมีดังต่อไปนี้ครับอันแรกนะครับเป็นเรื่องของการ building rapport อันที่2ก็เป็น start working ต่อไปการ positioning ของ tour guide ครับถัดจากนั้นก็เป็นเรื่องของ effective guiding การให้ข้อมูลหรือการแบ่งข้อมูลเกี่ยวกับ information ต่างๆที่เรามีครับมีศัพท์เทคนิคตัวหนึ่งที่อยากแนะนำคือ TVP หรือภาษาอังกฤษเรียกว่า Top Visual Priority ครับจากนั้นเป็นเรื่องของการให้ข้อมูลอีกครั้งในมุมของว่าเราให้ information แต่ว่าในขณะเดียวกันเรามีเรื่อง entertainment ด้วยครับแล้วก็เป็นเรื่องของ word การใช้คำพูดลักษณะของคำพูดที่ควรจะใช้ครับมีอีกอันหนึ่งที่น่าสนใจขึ้นเรียกว่า cultural sensitivity ซึ่งเป็นเรื่องของ culture ที่เรามีที่นักท่องเที่ยวอาจจะไม่เข้าใจครับสุดท้ายก็เรื่องของการจบทัวร์เราจบอย่างไรซึ่งทั้งหมดนี้เป็นเทคนิคที่เราจะใช้ก็มีเรื่องของ cultural sensitivity เกี่ยวกับเรื่องของ culture ของประเทศไทยที่นักท่องเที่ยวอาจจะไม่เข้าใจแล้วก็เรื่องของ safety ขณะการนำชม safety นี้หมายถึงว่าเช่นอาจจะเดินอาจจะสะดุดสิ่งโน้นสิ่งนั้นสิ่งนี้สิ่งนี้เป็นคำที่มัคคุเทศก์จะต้องเตือนนักท่องเที่ยวอยู่แล้วครับ
Okay, before we start working, there's some other information that I'd like to give you all. So, firstly, you should be confident, be active, be enthusiastic, be calm. You are the leader, you are the guide, they are going to listen to you. And secondly, gather the group before start talking. Make eyes contact to everyone and smile. In terms of your working with the driver, clearly introduce yourself first. Then introduce the driver. You are going to work together. You are working in team. Next, we should give the overview of the itinerary. Where is the meeting point? How much time do we have today? And what time we come back? Some of the travelers, they have other meetings. They may make a reservation for their Thai massage after the ending the tour. There are some rules about the lost people. If people get lost, what are you going to do? Tell them the meeting point, what time. And some people, they want to leave the tour first, or they just do the tour halfway and they say they will come back. So what should you do with them? Tell them where is the meeting point, what time. When we walk or walking tour, this is very important. Safety is very important for the traveler and also for you. Don't walk backwards. Never walk backwards. At the same time, we warn the travelers about the safety. What sort of safety? Look at the walkway. Walkway, sometimes there are broken slabs. They may step and fall off. They may drop into the drains, they may hit the tree, they hit the columns, even the roof. If you look at the old temple in Bangkok, the roof is quite low. What happens if they forehead hit with the roof? That is our fault. We do not inform them in advance. This is important before we start the tour. Some of the travelers, they may want to ask the questions. We should give them specific time to ask these questions. So encourage them if they want to know more about the story that we are talking about. You know, in terms of some culture, many foreigners may not realize that our culture is different from them. For example, what happened to the head or what happened to the head? Head is head for them, but for us, head is sensitive part. It's the most regarded, the most sacred part. Thai people never touch the other people's head at all, except we show fondness to the kid. Their kid, their children, their kids, we can touch them, but never touch adult head. When entering the room, entering the ordination hall, we remove the hat, we take off shoes. So a lot of things that we call Thai cultural sensitivity, which they may not know, but we have to inform them. There are some rules that we should realize is that when can we take picture? The group supposed to be behind the guy. Some of them they keep talking, keep walking, but don't forget that inform them that please stay behind us, then you will know where we are heading to. However, sometimes they want to ask the questions. Please be pleasure and welcome all the questions. Other thing is that, sometimes the group of the tourists that we are conducting, they are the group, they have different ages. Some of them retirees, some of them just kids, some of them teenagers. So some walk quick, but what happened to the slow people? So manage with the pace.
ในหัวข้อต่อไปนะคะเกี่ยวกับ building rapport RAPPORT อ่านว่า rapport ไม่ใช่ rapport rapport แปลว่าการสร้างไมตรีการสร้างสายสัมพันธ์ไมตรีจิตให้กับลูกทัวร์ so first when you meet the client what do you do to build the rapport to them so first of all you would have to do the warm welcome. Of course, welcome to Thailand. And then meet and greet. Smile. Thailand is the land of smiles. So throw your smiles to them. And of course, you have to have eye contact with them. So please wear sunglasses. Otherwise, they would not know your feeling to them. During the tour, other trainers will go deeply for the information. So, of course, during the tour, please don't only speak to them, but throw or do the two-way communication. นั่นคืออะไรคือสื่อสารกันแบบสองทางคือคุณไม่ได้แต่พูดอย่างเดียวคุณจะต้องสร้างคำถามหรือให้เขาสร้างคำถามมาหาเรา so the next before you end the tour please just only end the tour อย่างดื้อๆเลยนะคะคุณจะต้องทำอย่างไรสมาพันธ์มัคคุเทศก์โลกค่ะเขาแนะนำเราว่า 1. summarize the tour when you travel with them many days or the full day so please summarize where did you take them to or the places you have been so they will remember and recall the pictures those pictures when they are very feel love in Thailand they will throw that pictures to their family or their friends and then you have to thank them for coming the tour with you and of course don't just only end that wait you would have to thank them and also if they have any questions so please ask them and then finally say goodbye to them so other trainer will go for other topic
so now one of the techniques that we normally use when we conduct the tours first before we start talking or explaining to our travelers we need to find a shelter or the good location that we can explain to them for example in this sample we will talk about the Buddha images inside this gallery so when we take people from outside we have got to let them know first where we are heading for so we lead the group until we stand in the guide is standing at one point and all of the travelers reassemble here then that means we are ready to explain about the Buddha images, right? And one thing is that the guide will have got to know the position of the guide very well, where to stand, because since the objects here are high enough, then we are now inside the cloister containing a lot of seated Buddha images. So the best position of the tour guide is to stand 45 degrees against the Buddha statue, so that people can see what we are going to talk about. And another thing is that we need to ask our travelers to stand in semicircle. And why in semicircle? Because we want to block this area so that the others cannot walk through, and we will leave the space behind for the others passengers to go by. Okay, and then we will start talking about Buddha image. So when we talk about this Buddha image, of course, some part of these galleries there are Buddha images in different colors. But then, if we don't specify which one that we are going to talk about, we will confuse our travelers. So in this case, I will use the adjective to indicate the gold Buddha statue. For example, everyone, please look at this gold statue in subduing Mara attitude. You can see the right hand pointing down to the ground and left hand facing upward. And this Buddha image has oval face, not the square face or the round face, like other images here. So this is the way we use, right? So we just specify the object that we are going to talk about. This is the case that we are explaining inside the gallery. So in the other cases, when we have to be outdoor, so most of the guys, we always wear the sunglasses. Then the idea that we practice is the guy will not wear sunglasses in order to communicate with the traveler as well. Because when we wear sunglasses, that means we hide our eyes from our travelers. They don't know what we are talking about, and they don't know what we are thinking. And one thing that happens many times when we are explaining somewhere inside the temples or along the way, we will see some trash can or the rubbish bins. So just many people don't know how to stay away from the rubbish bin. And another thing, we don't stand in front of the object like this, because when we stand in front of the object, people who are standing facing us, they will not see the object clearly. And one thing that we do, normally we don't stand facing the object like this too, because we cannot communicate with the travelers with our eyes. And this is some techniques that we use. Many times when we are conducting the tours, the guides will always move the travelers many times. Like, everyone, please come this way. We will stand here, and then I'm going to tell you about this structure. It takes about 1 minute. Then everyone will move to another spot, and we will explain everything. So if we move 10 times, we will move 10 spots, and that's such a waste of time. Our idea is to move as less as possible. Why is that? Because at one point of time, when we stand, we can see everything clearly, and that is what the term that we use is TVP, or top visual priorities. We stand at one point, then we will see 3 to 4 objects at the same time, and we can explain everything at once. That is the idea. And one of the things is, we have got to let people know that when we are standing somewhere, we are not allowed to touch the object. And one thing which is considered a very important thing that we have to remind our travelers, whenever we are inside one place, like the temple or the Royal Grand Palace or the Temple of the Emerald Buddha image, we need to remind them about the photography. Some parts are not allowed to take picture, and some parts are allowed to take picture. And as I mentioned earlier, we also have to let them know about the objects. None of the objects are touchable, because if we don't tell them, they will mislead that they can touch everything. All right. So the best way is just to let them know in advance what they can and what they cannot. Another thing about positioning is, when we want to explain about the objects which is taller than us. For example, the cable board and the roof structure on top of the building behind me. It is the ordination hall. This is the position I'm standing here. I'm standing facing the travelers and turning my back to the object. so then I can explain, even though I'm standing across the street on another side of the street. For example, everyone now, please have a look at the cable board behind me. That cable board is beautifully decorated with the color glasses in gold color, in red color. Okay, I use adjective to indicate the materials that used to decorate all the cables together.
So, Dick, what is the next topic that we are going to talk about?
So the next topic that we talk about is going to be about how to guide effectively. So to guide effectively, we are the person who will interpreting for our sister.
Can you explain it more or extend it? What do you mean about interpreting?
For this part, we are the person who make two-way communication to our traveler. So for example, we have to give them a chance to ask any question that they may have, or sometimes we just ask them some question to make sure they are with us. They understand what we're talking about.
So, in order to have a two-way communication, how should it be?
Firstly, I think the main important thing that we should know our traveler. Who are they? What is their nationality? What they are doing? For example, if they're the teacher, they may want to know about the education system in our country. If they're the doctor, they may want to know about the healthcare system in our country, and also their age. What kind of where they come from, nationality.
Do we need to know about the previous, like the previous tour or something like that?
Actually, that is going to be another good point. What they have been, what they have done before. For example, what they have done yesterday, what they have experienced in our country before, and even though for the future, what they're going to do. Yeah.
So I mean, if you know those kinds of topics, how would it help you make like an effective guiding?
Yeah, very important because if we know them, that means we can prepare what we should providing for them. It's going to be like a homework that we should study before. And also, if we know what their special interest, what they want to know, we can we can prepare for them. That is going to be the best how to keep them satisfied.
Thank you very much.
So, as a tourist guide, how much we should tell our visitors? Do we have to tell everything that we know from the classroom? No, please don't do that. 100% that you have learned from the classroom, please don't tell. The information that you should tell them depends on their nationality, their ages, their interests, and many things. But I would like to tell you how you structure it related to the guiding technique of WFTTA or the World Federation of Tourist Guide Associations. เขาได้แบ่งตามนี้ค่ะ must tell สิ่งที่คุณจะต้องควรพูดมากที่สุด depends on 5W and 1 how สิ่งที่สำคัญ2อย่างแรกเลยนะคะที่จะต้องพูดคือ what and why what is it and why was it built อย่างเช่นพระอุโบสถนะคะที่หมียืนอยู่ข้างหน้านี้พระอุโบสถนี้ what is that of course it is the ordination hall why it was built ทำไมถึงสร้างล่ะคะใช่ไหมคะดังนั้น3อย่างที่คุณจะต้องตามมานั่นก็คือ who where when ถามว่า3อย่างนี้คุณจะเรียงลำดับอย่างไรก็ได้แล้วช่วยบอกอีก1 how ทำไมถึงสร้างดังนี้ล่ะนะคะนอกจากนั้นไม่เพียงแต่แค่ must tell คุณจะต้องเพิ่ม information ที่เขาเรียกว่า should tell นั่นคือข้อมูลที่สำคัญรองลงมาเช่นภายในพระอุโบสถ inside the ordination hall คุณสามารถพูดอะไรได้บ้าง the main principle the main Buddha image or the principal Buddha image นะคะ the mural painting the altar many things and of course ถ้าเขายังสนใจอีกนะคะช่วยบอกรายละเอียดที่สำคัญน้อยลงมาแต่ว่าเราควรที่จะพูดนั่นคือ should tell ขอโทษค่ะ could tell นะคะข้อมูลนี้เป็นข้อมูลที่สำคัญน้อยลงมาดังนั้นขอให้มัคคุเทศก์เรียงลำดับตามนี้เลยค่ะข้อมูลที่สำคัญคิด to the point ไปเลยค่ะ 5W บวก 1 hour แล้วก็ should tell แล้วตบด้วย could tell ค่ะ
So So ladies and gentlemen, when we are going to give the information and the entertainment, it must be equal, okay? And it means that it is going to be balanced by both of them. And the information that you are going to give to your clients or travelers or visitors, it must be accurate and always correct. And it needs the facts and data as well, so you know that what you are going to talk about, and make sure that it's not too long, because your clients, your tourists will not listen all the story for the whole day. It's gonna be boring. And make sure that your story, you are going to explain that you use a simple words to make sure that everyone can understand what you are going to say. Because many foreigners, they are not a native speaker. Some might come from the Sri Lankan, some might use English as their mother tongue language, but some might not. So make sure that the words that you are going to say or the sentences that you are going to explain to them, it must be simple. And the structure within the framework as well. So keep it in what you are going to say, or in the other words, hit to the point.
Okay, Natalie. What are you going to talk about in terms of guiding techniques today?
I am going to talk about words because, when we explain, word is really important.
Why you say words very important?
Well, if you use the right words, you can make the tourist or the traveler understand it immediately. So word can paint picture.
Okay, so the words can paint a picture. That is the guiding techniques.
Exactly,
Okay, and
definitely.
What else? Besides the words can paint a picture?
Well, before it will be able to paint the picture, we need to make sure that the word we use is simple. It shouldn't be a very complicated word. It needs to be simple.
I heard a lot of people talking like a lot long sentences, very difficult words. I mean, those are not good.
That's not good at all. When you have to say anything in sentences, it shouldn't be too long. It should be short, sharp, and clear. So basically, it needs to be short and simple. Why? Because the tourists, they are not here to, learn everything. They only want to be here to enjoy and know a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So no need to say
Don't need to say
every
too
single
long.
thing. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Otherwise they're gonna walk away. Because they don't want to listen to your story anymore.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Otherwise, it can be very boring.
Yeah, I understand. And what else?
Well, there's one thing that is also very important because, here we are in Thailand and there are so many jargons that the traveler may not understand because we are basically comes from a different culture.
Okay.
The jargon word that we have, for example, พระอุโบสถ
พระอุโบสถ
ศาลาการประเรียน
Okay, those are Thai words.
Those are Thai words. So if we have those words, we need to explain them. Make sure they understand what the jargon word that we are
Okay.
talking about is.
If you want to talk about ordination or the obosot or both, what you should talk?
So we can say, for example, ladies and gentlemen, in front of us, this is called พระอุโบสถ or in English, it can be translated as the ordination hall.
Okay.
The ordination hall basically used to ordain a man to become a Buddhist monk.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Now it's clear. Okay. And
Audience intelligence.
so, do you need to know? What do you think about your audience? Do they know a lot before when they come to your country or not?
This is very important. One thing that we need to be really extra careful, that I would say, is that some traveler, before they travel to whatever country, to Thailand for example, many of them may read a lot about Thailand. Many of them can just, okay, I have a tour guide, so I will depend on him. So do not overestimate them.
Okay.
And do not underestimate
What
them.
does it mean? Underestimate.
Underestimate means that, when you talk
you do not talk like, hey, they know nothing.
Okay.
They never know anything about Thailand, so I can say whatever I want. I can make up the story.
All right.
You know, so they may don't know what I'm talking about. This is called underestimated.
Okay, that means you are in terms of guiding techniques. We also need to know a lot about our audience. We cannot underestimate or overestimate our audience.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
And, what else?
Yeah.
Use adjective to tell us.
Well, adjective. Adjective is also very important. You know,
Any other samples of adjectives that you can use to describe your talk?
of course, you can use the color
Okay,
to,
the color.
you know, indicate the buildings or the objects. Like for example, there is a building right in front of us. Instead of just saying, ladies and gentlemen, look at the building right in front of us, you can add the adjective of colors, like green, red, for example. Look at that green building right in front of us.
Okay, now I understand clearly about your ideas. And what else that you can talk about?
Well, the last technique, I think even it's the last but it's not least, it is also very important, you know, that is, do never ever draw the visitor with dates. For example, when you want to tell the travelers about the year that the building was built, instead of saying the building was built in the year 1999, you can just simply say the building was built in 20th century. You know, and one more thing is that we can relate our visitors with the period of the event.
Okay.
For example, we say, ladies and gentlemen, do you know the bridge over the River Kwai was built during World War II? No need to say it was built in 1945 or whatsoever.
But if you say that we should not drown visitors with the days or the years, and for some cases like the story during the Second World War, that you have to bullet point the time, can we use the numbers too?
Of course, of course.
The bridge was the war took place in 1939, and then the war in Thailand broke out in 1941. Can we do this?
Exactly, you can do that because it would help them to understand it perfectly, clearly. But the main thing is that we need to keep it short and simple.
Right.
That is the main idea.
Right. Thank you.
You
Thank
are very welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, what are we going to talk about?
What are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
We talk about answering the questions.
Okay,
Sometimes
answering
your
the question.
traveler has the questions to you. So what should you do?
Very important for me. At first, I need to listen to the question. I need to make sure that the traveler finish questioning. That's very important thing. The reason is that I want to understand clearly what the question is.
I see.
And I want to make sure that I heard the question correctly. Because usually a lot of travelers are from different parts of the world and their accents are not the same. So many times that I lost. But I lost, I did not understand what question was. And another thing is that when I assume that I understand the question and I instruct right to the middle of the question, that's going to be a very inappropriate manner between the guide and the travelers.
That's good. And the thing is, I think we should show some pressure. What is that?
Okay, when we want, that is very good thing that you raise up, Jerry. We want to show our pleasure when they ask. We can say, thank you for the question. Your question is very interesting. And I would love to share this answer to all of the travelers on the trip. That is what I want to say.
Another thing is repeating questions. You have time to think about the answer. And secondly, to show that everyone involved. And if you repeat again, everyone can hear what the question is. That is another important thing.
Yeah, you make the point.
Yeah, so everyone may want to know what the question is.
Okay, right.
Again, after asking questions, how about the answer? What is the way to answer the question?
Usually the right way for us to answer the question is to keep it short and concise. What it means? It means we don't have to go around the bush because some of the guys, I would say some of the guys that I have heard, when they hear the question, they just don't go straight to the answer. They just go around the bush and they waste a lot of time. The idea is you just hit to the point and give the concise answer so that we will not lose the time.
Oh, that's good. And sometimes other people may not want to know that question
Correct.
too, or
Correct.
may not want to know the answer, and they want to keep going.
Correct.
Another thing is sometimes some people may ask you unwanted questions. What should we do with those questions that sometimes considered by some people nonsense?
I would say I will allocate specific time. What it means? It means when I don't want others to listen to this answer because it doesn't make sense to them, I will tell the people who ask the question, I'll get back to you in about a few minutes. Let me finish this session first.
Will to be lose control or be angry with those questions?
No, actually, if you know how to control our travelers and we give them the specific time, they will understand.
All right, thank you very much. So this is the way of answering the questions, both wanted questions and unwanted questions
Right.
from Professional English Guy Club. Thank you for today.
Hope you enjoy.
One of the things that we need to explain or give to the clients or our travelers before we go inside the building is called the cultural sensitivity. What is cultural sensitivity? Cultural sensitivity is something that the Thais cannot do whenever they have to go to the holy places. One thing that we can see from here is the place where we can leave the shoes. Okay, so before we go inside any buildings, we have got to ask our travelers to remove the shoes and leave the shoes on the shelf. And the second thing is just to move the hat. When we move the hat, it means we pay respect to the place before we go inside. And of course, one thing that happens, every building has the threshold, the bar at the bottom of the door. So people in Thailand do not step on the threshold when they go inside. The Thai word is called Thorani Pratu, but English is the threshold. So we let you know everyone before you go inside, please take off your shoes, please take off your hat, and when you see the threshold at the bottom of the door, do not step on the threshold. So once we go inside the building, of course, a lot of people are sitting down on the floor. One thing that people in Thailand don't do is that when we walk past the others, we will make sure that our butt is not higher than their heads. That's the way we pay respect to people sitting on the floor. Then at one point, when we have got to sit down inside the building, of course there will be some Buddha images right in front of us. A lot of Thai people, normally when we sit down, we don't point our feet to the objects because that is considered a very inappropriate manners. So for the people, for the tourists as well. So we have got to let them know that when you sit down on the floor, please do not point your feet to the objects because in Thailand, the head is considered the most pure part of the body. Of course, the feet are considered the most impure part of the body. And one thing which is very important to us, people in Thailand do not allow others to pat at the head. That is considered a very rude manner. We will tell them, please do not pat the other's head because they're going to lead to something.
Before we're ending the session, I'd like to tell us that the tour guide have the power to influence the behavior of the visitor. At the same time, the tour guide can create long-lasting impression. So in guiding, it's not so much about what we say, but how we say it. We know the same thing, we know the same story, we know the same topic, but how we transfer, how we use this story to impress them, that is personal technique. Thank you for today.